Hey Dumplies, it's Dave Decide. Today I want to get into a recent statement by HYBE and why people are thinking this is about Jungkook's male dating thing, and of course Jungkook being attacked for it and stuff. I also want to get into HYBE and some cute censored clips that were posted. So hater or not, make sure you're subscribed with the notification bell on. Grab your dumplings, tea spilling mug merch, and let's get into it. The first thing that I wanted to get into is some cute HYBE censored videos and clips. I saw a post on some news sites that were honoring and talking about some of the recent clips from Run BTS that were censored. Since we are all missing Run BTS, this would be a great way to honor the show and talk about it more. In one of the episodes where BTS was playing a word game, they ended up blurring out Jin's answer on the whiteboard. Of course, I initially thought it was probably a curse word or something, but the word was poop. I guess they didn't want to associate poop with Jin, and it was even hilarious that Jin decided to even write that on the board. Our boys don't censor themselves when they are on their reality show. This is one of the reasons I love them so much, is because they are unapologetically themselves, and sometimes that leads to some immature humor, which I love. In another episode, RM was doing an Eminem song, and as you can imagine, Eminem likes to throw a few curse words in his songs. And of course, one of the big hit or HYBE rules is that the members are not allowed to curse because it makes them look bad. I guess, I don't know. Everyone curses, right? ARMYs were begging to hear the original with the curses. I mean, the issue isn't BTS cursing, it's BTS cursing in Korea, because HYBE or Big Hit or even BTS themselves don't censor themselves from cursing at their concerts and stuff like that while in America. Jimin is also someone who curses a lot, but Korean curses, I have no idea what is even a Korean curse word, because it's interesting to think that the curse words you know in English are not the same and or the same meaning in another language. Like, they might have an equivalent F word, but they don't have the F word in some languages. But Jimin curses a lot, so the editors have quite a bit of fun editing and censoring out those words. One of the more interesting and cute moments is not when they censor out words or what BTS says, but actually censors out body parts. Like if BTS shows their middle finger, or in one Run BTS episode, the boys all got really wet in a swimming pool, and some of the boys were wearing white shirts, so you can definitely see through the shirts when wet. So Jimin was one of them, and you could see his nips. And HYBE wanted to make sure you could not. Nips in America are not a big deal, and you might wonder why bother censoring it, because when BTS is on stage or whatever, they can be shirtless, and apparently they can't show their abs while on a reality show. Stage performances are when the boys are expected to show certain body parts because they've prepared for it to be seen, made it look nice, or Jungkook oiling his abs, that sort of stuff. And also stages are more considered like Halloween costumes, so it's more acceptable to dress a certain way and show more. But in a reality show where it's supposed to be day to day, you're not allowed to show these things. So HYBE's like, nobody nope no. Put a BTS 21 character over it or something. And of course, the same goes for any time BTS has their reality show and the show is supposed to be for Koreans. They will blur out Jungkook's tattoos because tattoos are not allowed in daytime TV in Korea. It is seen as more taboo for that sort of thing, which is why in season 1 of In the Soup, Jungkook's tattoos were constantly blurred out every time it was shown, because that season aired on TV and they had to follow those guidelines. So that wasn't really a HYBE decision, but it's one of the many things that they censored, tattoos. There was even a moment that was so funny to me, and honestly I wish I had someone who was able to do this to all my unflattering pictures, but apparently it was a ride that BTS was on. It looks like a log fume ride. The HYBE staff decided to edit or censor Jin's face because maybe he was making an unflattering face. I had to see this face, like I needed to know how unflattering it could be, because as bad as it could be, it can't be worse than the face I'd make if I was going down that log. Imagine being that log. Anywho, a uncensored version did come out and we got to see it, and it's not bad at all. I'm going to share it here. Don't share it with anyone else. It's our secret. But that is totally the face I'd make too. It's moments like this that make ARMY really stand the boys and the company, and I can't get enough of them. Of course, there's people who really hate these cute moments too, which causes a lot of problems. A statement that was posted online, Weverse announced a "Hello, this is Big Hit Music" post again, and it was not a bad thing this time. This was definitely something that ARMYs were okay reading about. None of the members were hurt, but it was an update on a legal battle that seems to be ongoing. So if you're unaware of the legal issues surrounding HYBE, I apologize if this phrasing is bad. You might think it's weird when you read news articles, which I don't know if it's true, that say Big Hit sues a 13-year-old or whatever, but it's so much more than that. Obviously, that is just a title that grabs your attention and makes you read, but it's so much deeper than that. The hate that BTS gets is rarely just hate like, oh, you're ugly or whatever. It's like hate where they bring the family members into it, or they create petitions, or they start harassing brands BTS works with. This becomes a problem because they are obviously going too far, and this stuff actually does border on the illegal side, especially since there is actually nothing bad that BTS has done, and these haters have to make it up. So they'll start a trend making up an awful rumor, and I don't mean a dating rumor, a big rumor that actually makes the boys look bad. It's like one step away from calling them murderers type of rumor. And obviously there's no evidence of that, but if a brand sees that or new potential army sees that, they're definitely less likely to follow, listen to BTS's music, or want to work with BTS. And because of this, and because there's no actual evidence of the boys doing that awful thing, this borders on illegal, to which armies have asked HYBE to take legal action on the haters for the longest time. The note that HYBE put out basically said that they found the person that has been doing all this and is taking legal action to stop them, meaning it's already done or it's in the process. One of the lines of the statement that was kind of taken and ran with was, "This perpetrator's post containing false information about our artists grounded on serious levels of delusion and nonsensical logic." People were using this to attack ships, and specifically the pictures of Jungkook and Taehyung fall under delusion. So there is this rumor that Taehyung and Jungkook are dating, and people always call those Taekook shippers delusional. Now, I've said this before, the act of shipping two members together, thinking the two members are cute together, and that sort of stuff does not fall under defamation. BTS even did that kind of themselves when they released Seven Fates and the members kind of fell in love with each other. This is not something they mean by that statement. However, there's people who like Taehyung and Jungkook together and will use that reason to make up rumors about Jimin and attack him and send him death threats because they want Jimin away from Jungkook and Taehyung. That is something you can take legal action on, and actually is illegal. There's a reason why in the statement HYBE mentions 5 years in prison, because death threats and making up criminal things that BTS has done when they haven't isn't just like, oh, it's a rumor. It's actually very much illegal, and you are a criminal if you do that. Not just to BTS, but to anyone. I think it was only a few hours before this statement, I am not entirely sure, Jungkook decided to do a Q&A thing on Instagram where he asked ARMY to ask him a question and he would just respond since he was in quarantine and bored. Him being a public figure, he gets hate comments a lot, and likely he has seen so many of them. But he typically does not choose to respond. I would assume that since he hasn't been feeling well due to COVID and maybe is locked at home with nothing to do, he may have felt more of a pull to respond to some hate. It's hard to see a hate comment and not respond because you immediately want them to know what they said was out of line. Also, you want to clarify, and you're taught by society to stand up for yourself, but then you can't be too defensive or rude back because then you look bad. Or if you do respond, you get death threats, or it makes the issue bigger, so you choose not to respond. So what happened? Jungkook got a response after saying he was bored and someone told him to eat dog poop. This is obviously not a joke, or if it is, it's really bad, and Jungkook responded, which he should not have, in my opinion. And he said, "Isn't this a bit harsh? If you squish choco pies together, that kind of looks like dog poop." Of course, he probably wasn't too offended by it, but armies were upset that there was even one person writing this, and who knows how many of these comments Jungkook sees, but also that Jungkook had to see any of these type of comments. But people think it was after these comments that Jungkook and HYBE decided to sue a malicious Taekook post, which is why the HYBE statement was released soon after. But I don't think this statement or his Q&A were related, and I don't think he would take legal action on Taekook pictures, as there's nothing legally wrong with creating fanfic as long as it isn't used to attack the other members. Fanfic is part of the fan culture, but just keep in mind, since nothing is confirmed, we can take it as something fun to watch and to do. We must not say it's 100% true and then attack other members who believe in other ships or don't believe in the ships at all. Let me know what you think. Make sure you check out my Patreon for more videos. Link below. Thank you to this lovely comment right here. Love you. Bye.